now sounding more like an adversary. Mary Bruce, ABC News, the White House.
The monthly employment report is out, shows far more jobs created in March than expected. Today's report from the Labor Department shows employment rose by 228,000 jobs last month versus the 151,000 added the month prior. The unemployment rate ticked up just slightly to 4.2%. Some of the 10,000 fired workers across the Department of Health and Human Services may get their jobs back. Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. saying they were fired by mistake. Not clear how many will be reinstated. 3 MPS schools remain closed for lead remediation as the man leading cleanup efforts in Milwaukee Public Schools is out. Sean Kane was the senior director of facilities and maintenance for MPS and had been under fire for not having the proper credentials for his job. Milwaukee Health Commissioner Dr. Mike Todoritis.
I never want to see anybody lose their job or their role. However, I do think at this moment it was warranted to help move us into this next step.
MPS Superintendent Dr. Brenda Caselius confirms a revised action plan for lead removal will be available next week. Milwaukee's newest alderman will officially begin his first term in office this evening.
Alex Brower will be sworn in today after the Milwaukee Elections Commission certifies the results of Tuesday's race. But the new leader of Milwaukee's 3rd District tells WTMJ he's already gotten to work.
There's a backlog of work and some licensing stuff that needs to happen.
Alderman-elect Brower says he hopes to quickly initiate listening sessions to address that growing backlog of license applications.
I'm going to be meeting with the director of licensing soon as well after I'm sworn in, and looking forward to those conversations about the exact specifics of the procedure.
Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
A new Chief Justice for the Wisconsin Supreme Court just days after Dane County Judge Susan Crawford won a seat on the court. Soon to retire Justice Ann Walsh Bradley has been elected to serve as Chief Justice. She'll serve in the role from May 1st through June 30th, after which Justice Jill Karofsky will take over the role. The court votes to appoint a new Chief Justice every 2 years. Justice Annette Ziegler is the current chief. Her second 2-year term ends April 30th. An all-star weekend comes to Waukesha.
The very best in the Professional Bowlers Association are heading to Foxview Lanes. PBA Commissioner Tom Clark tells WTMJ's What's on Tap.
This will be the first time that the PBA conducts an event on television on string pins.
String pins are a new system used for resetting. The All-Star Weekend puts another bowling controversy to the test.
Everybody wants to debate whether two-hand or one-hand is better. So we're going to have a team of two-hand bowlers against a team of one-hand bowlers.
Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
Time for news about your money. In the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update, looks like another down day on Wall Street, at least starting out that way. Dow is down 992 points at 39,553. The Nasdaq is down 486 at 16,063. S&P 500 down 156 at 5,239. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 9:04.
Stop in and stock up at Fleet Farm's Truckload Super Sale this Thursday through Sunday. Get bags of KT Basic Blend bird food for just $13.99 a bag. Edge heavy-duty storage totes on sale for $7.49. Miracle Grow garden soil is 4 for $11 or $2.75 a bag. And Trophy Rock mineral blocks are on sale for $8.99 a piece. We bought big so you can spend less at Fleet Farm's Truckload Super Sale, April 3rd through the 6th.
Did you know that Wisconsin has a new, quick, and free online tax filing tool called IRS Direct File? Direct File is changing how people file their taxes and bringing more money into our state through the federal Earned Income Tax Credit and Child Tax Credit. File your federal and state taxes online directly with the IRS from your smartphone or computer. On average, file in less than 1 hour. Available in English and Spanish. Visit directfile.irs.gov to see if you're eligible. Sponsored by United Way of Wisconsin.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here for Shopco Optical. Get eyewear for everything you do at Shopco Optical. Schedule your annual comprehensive eye exam, check out new frame styles, and order your annual supply of contact lenses all in one place. Enjoy the time and attention your eyes deserve at Shopco Optical. Receive quality eye care and a personalized vision solution tailored to your specific vision and lifestyle needs. Call Shopco Optical or visit shopco.com to schedule an appointment at a location nearest you.
The pulse of the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a Bucks legend.
Can't get it off. Marcus Johnson will, though. Can't leave him alone for a 12.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson on Bucks Plus. Marcus and his son Chris offer a weekly beat on Bucks basketball. Get your questions answered and hear from the biggest names in basketball. Find Here District with Marcus Johnson at bucks.com/plus on the Bucks app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Bucks blew out the 76ers 126-113 from Philadelphia. Milwaukee now 5th in the East. They visit the Heat tomorrow night. And the Brewers shut out the Reds 1-0 in their season opener at home. Milwaukee improves to 3-4 and continues the 4-game set against the Reds tonight. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. I-43 south at the ramp from North Avenue. The shoulders there are blocked due to a crash. I-43 south at Slutty Slope Road. Right shoulder there blocked due to a disabled vehicle. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. After morning sunshine, increasing cloudiness, maybe showers later on today. Highs 45 lakeside, 51 inland. A few showers overnight, low 38. Showers early tomorrow morning, then turning partly cloudy, 51. Partly cloudy and 47 on Sunday. Scattered snow showers possible on Monday. Breezy, cool, high of only 38. Sunny and cool on Tuesday with a high of 41. Right now, Madison's at 38, Green Bay 42, Milwaukee 42. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 9:08.
Good morning, Wisconsin. So let's pour that coffee and talk to some experts about what's going on in Milwaukee, Madison, Washington, and beyond. Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. It's the Political Power Hour on WTMJ. Here's your host, Steve Scaffidi.
Should we talk about the government?
Oh, you bet. Let's get into it. Happy Friday, everybody. Steve Scaffidi, Bill McCosh, and Joseph Pecky. Start with you, Bill. Is the president a tariff expert or just an economic twit? What's the answer?
Well, we are. Let me give you my explanation of how this is going. And I'm concerned about the tariffs. I don't know how they're going to work out. Obviously, I hope they do. This would be like remodeling your entire house while the family's living there. And the question is, how long will the family put up with this? And what's the tolerance level for this amount of disruption at one time? And I don't know that we know the answer yet, but I don't think it's a year, which is what the Trump people are talking about. I'm not even sure it's a quarter. We'll see. But he got some good news today. The jobs report was significantly better than was expected. 140,000 jobs were expected. 228,000 were created in March. Oil prices are down to their lowest level since 2021 as of today. So there are some indicators that are going well. I'm hoping that this is a negotiating tactic and that he can resolve as many of these country disputes as possible over the next 2 months, probably not much longer than that, because, again, I'm not sure how long Americans will stand for it.
And I'm not sure how long Congress, at least the ones that are paying attention to what people's pain and suffering looks like when it comes to their household budgets, how long they'll put up with it. And they could actually exercise some authority and power here and say, you know what, we're not doing this.
Well, and he needs them for the big, beautiful bill.
Yeah.
And that's coming up.
All right, Mr. Zapecki.
He's a twit. $2.7 trillion in American wealth evaporated this week. If you are nearing retirement, your 401k hit, doesn't have time to rebuild, that sucks. If you are, somebody who does not make a lot of money, the increase in costs that you pay for everyday goods, that sucks. That's going to hit you as well. Those of us in the middle who are, not the working poor and not close to retirement are going to pay more for a bunch of purchases that we need to make for our families, and that sucks. And there is no rhyme or reason. The analysts have tried to figure out how the hell they even came up with the numbers that they did, and it appears to be something that ChatGPT just pulled out of thin air.
It does seem a little shaky.
And so why has Trump decided that we are going to destroy 80 years of global economic order that has led to the United States having an economy that is the envy of the world. I understand the metaphor you're making. I'm not sure it's serious enough or severe enough, because even if the economy makes some short-term comeback, the role that the United States has played around the world fixing this is going to take generations.
I had an economist on the show yesterday from Canada, a respected economist, and he said basically how this is supposed to happen. Presidents and leaders always make threats about this stuff, and they have for forever. Yep. But the way it works is then you have a negotiation, you figure things out, and that seems to be something that President Donald Trump, is not willing to do at this moment.
Well, but he should. And quicker is better, in my opinion. The Prime Minister of Ontario, at least, I don't think it was the Prime Minister of Canada, so whatever their equivalent of their governor is for Ontario, said, we'll eliminate our tariffs if you eliminate yours. Take the deal right then and there, right? The notion on my side, and listen, I'm a huge Reagan guy. I was a big fan of W. Bush, but the Republican sort of supply side of this is always that we want free trade. There's no such thing as free trade. We should be asking for fair trade, and that's what Trump is asking for here. The beneficiaries of this will not be the rich and wealthy. It will be the working class. His goal is to bring manufacturing jobs back to the United States.
But you know that takes years.
It does take time.
He won't even be in office.
That gets back to the house analogy. How long were you going to be in that house that's being fully remodeled until the mother says, we're going to the hotel?
In the meantime, the odds of a recession have increased. JP Morgan is now saying a 60% or greater likelihood of a recession. Inflation is returning. That's known as stagflation. That is a political killer. You thought Democrats took it on the chin for the economic frustrations of everyday Americans in 2024? Oh, buckle up, Republicans.
So I said yesterday, Liberation Day is now the moment when this economy is Donald Trump's. He can't go backwards and blame Biden.
His. Yeah, I agree.
He owns it now.
Yep.
So everything that happens from that day forward, which was a Tuesday or Wednesday, that's his thing that he has to reconcile with the American public. And I don't believe the American public is as patient as you think they might be for a couple months. I don't know about that.
You think the price of oil cratering is going to lead to drill, baby, drill? Is that how economics works?
Well, we did release some licensing in the Gulf of America yesterday, according to Secretary Burgum. So we're going to see how all of these chess moves, play out over the next. To your point, they have to show results by this time next year, or Republicans are going to get wiped out.
Cooked
in November of 26.
Bill McCosh and Joseph Peck, interesting text. You can't be a Reagan guy and a Trump guy at the same time.
Bill's trying his best, though.
There you go. He's trying. He's swimming upstream. All right, lots more to get to, including, oh, by the way, there was an election on Tuesday. Let's talk about those results. One guy happy, one guy not so happy. Actually, two guys not so happy, at least in one of those races. All right, let's get to actually both. That's next.
I'm WTMJ's Sandy Max. What makes living at Three Pillars so special? Let's hear from my friend Dave.
The campus is beautiful. For me, nature is my church, and I love being outside. We live by the Bark River, and it's calming. It just calms my soul. I just love it. A lot of the people, I'm talking about 100-year-old people, they credit Three Pillars with living longer.
Schedule a tour today at threepillars.org.
You can search for the biggest bat selection, but I'm here to save you time because the best baseball and softball bat selection in the Midwest is right here at Burkhart Sporting Goods. We stock just about every bat on the market from all the top manufacturers like Easton, DeMarini, Louisville Slugger, Marucci, and more, and sell them all at the guaranteed lowest prices. So get in here and try a few out in our indoor batting cages. There's no need to look any further because when it comes to bats, if you want it, we got it at Burkhart Sporting Goods.
You can't beat Burkhart.
When you run a team, you want great uniforms, and you know selling spiritwear is vital. That's why Burkhart Sporting Goods will create a free custom website for you to sell your families and players the coolest spiritwear from Nike and Under Armour, as well as the basics, while helping you fundraise at the same time. We take the hassle out of coordinating your team's apparel and make shopping and buying easy. So when you need awesome spiritwear and uniforms for your organization, you can't beat Burkhart.
You can't beat Burkhart.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here for Landworks. Take a look outside and imagine the yard of your dreams. What do you see out there? Thriving plant life, immaculately edged beds, beautiful, healthy blooms. I got this at my place. It's thanks to Landworks. Take the guesswork out of your green space with landscape services from a good local company, Landworks. Their personalized landscaping plans are carefully designed to make your property shine throughout the season. Plan it now. Now's the time to contact Landworks today, the teams I trust in my yard. LandworksWisconsin.com.
Well, we had an election this week, and we have two guys that are probably roaring ready to talk about it. Joseph Peck.
Where's my champagne?
Yeah, we both lost on the big races.
We did.
Yeah, Kinzer and Schimmel went down. You were the big winner. So, let's start with you. What do you think? What is that message? What is the message? What did it say to you?
Well, it says a couple things. First of all, the Republican underperformance and Democratic overperformance in the Florida specials is a thing that should sound alarm bells for Republicans on Capitol Hill. And then those alarm bells should become a screaming 5-alarm fire when they realize that Elon Musk's millions can't save them. That was, I think part of the deal. They thought, okay, you know what? We're doing some things that are a little rough, a little unpopular, but this is short-term pain for long-term gain. But we got the richest man in the world. He's going to open up the checkbook and make sure we're competing on a level playing field. We'll be okay. Whoops. And so I think what ought to happen in the wake of this is that congressional Republicans should grow a spine and say no to the worst excesses of the Trump administration, which includes stepping all over the legislative branch's constitutional authority. Will they do so? We're not seeing indications of that yet. The cracks in the Republicans on Capitol Hill are actually right now internal fights as opposed to people stepping up and saying, if we take $800 billion out of Medicaid, that doesn't just hurt the people who are the end recipients. There are tens of thousands of businesses in Wisconsin alone that draw down federal dollars from Medicaid that allows people to have jobs and employment and work. And so the economic aftershocks of this are going to be felt unless congressional Republicans stand up and say, hold on a second. Instead of this ready, fire, aim approach, let's measure twice, cut once, let's be more responsible. But so far, I'm not seeing any indication of that.
Yeah, I don't see any harbinger.
No lessons learned by Republicans.
Well, not out of Florida. and here's why. Those two seats were held by longtime Congress people who barely had any competition, so they're going to overperform what the district numbers are on any given day. But I will say this. Candidate recruitment, a candidate's quality is 70% of whether or not you're going to win the race. 30% is strategy and tactics. Randy Fine was a crap candidate. And who said that? Ron DeSantis said that. He came out and said this guy was a rhino. They should have never picked him. He didn't say the same thing about the guy who ran in the first down in Florida. But the reality is candidate recruitment is a significant factor. So I discount that. I mean, truthfully, Randy Fine owns his win to Donald Trump, so he's not going anywhere. So, I think he will do better in the midterms than he did in this race. He wasn't a great state senator. A lot of people didn't like him. I think that we could have done a better job on candidate recruitment. Now, fast forward to Wisconsin. I think Brad Schimmel is an unbelievable human being, a phenomenal human being.
Good guy.
He worked his tail off. I'm not sure he was the right candidate for this time in the state of Wisconsin. But, there were a lot of factors. When you lose by 10 or more, it's not one thing that took you down. It's a bunch of things.
That's 2 times in a row.
It's 2 times in a row.
So let's talk about Republicans in Wisconsin, led by Brian Schimming. Other than the Trump win, which was a significant win, obviously the swing states went his way in November, but everything else, Republicans are losing. And there's a lot of people pointing fingers. Where should they point their finger?
I think the party has to do some retrospect for sure, both on their leadership, but more importantly on the strategy and the tactics and what they're able to accomplish. But there are ally groups on the Republican side, whether it's AFP or it's America PAC, which is Musk's organization, or it's TPUSC, Turning Point USA. Whatever they did on the ground, either it wasn't enough or it wasn't the right thing. They may have worked hard, they didn't work smart. And what do I say by that? If you're getting beat by the numbers that Schimmel ultimately got beat by, at some point in time, you got to look at the candidate, right? And so, or the messaging.
or the leader of the Republican Party in the state of Wisconsin.
They went all in on Trump, though. Like I feel like,
which wasn't the right thing to do.
But
I can
was
tell
a
you,
choice.
having run statewide races, candidate popularity. Tommy Thompson. I'll give you my example. Personal popularity is not transferable to another candidate, but issues are and agendas are. I think they've failed to prosecute the right case against Susan Crawford. I don't know if we could have won anyway, but this should have been about voter ID for sure. It should have been about Act 10 and or property taxes, because not a lot of voters know what Act 10 is anymore. Probably should have been about some of the social or cultural issues that have been successful for Republicans recently. It wasn't about any of those things. And lastly, I will say, Brad Schimmel got endorsed by 50-plus sheriffs and all of the law enforcement organizations in the state of Wisconsin. You didn't see a single ad that said that. Nobody knew those things. That's a mistake.
Let me give some kudos to Judge Schimmel while we're here, and I know that you guys will as well. He was classy in defeat. He did the right thing. He called and conceded. He hushed people at his own victory, his own party, who were saying it was rigged, and it's like. And I wish we didn't have to call that out, because it should be standard operating procedure. But when you still have Republican losers like Eric Hovde complaining about the results, thank you, Judge Schimmel. You conducted yourself with class, and I respect the hell out of that.
All right, so looking at the state of Wisconsin, and for Republicans, everybody was strutting in November, right, or right after the election. Yep. Yeah, we got this. Things are looking good. We have a governor's race coming up. I'm not sure that Rebecca Bradley survives her race next year. She is very much now in the... Again, I don't often like to use the term, but in the crosshairs, not in the way most people assign that. But she is going to be the focus of liberal members of the state, voters of the state, who say, we don't want her on that court. And Republicans, I don't know if they can survive that, because you will lose the court for a long time. You have obviously, Evers has to make his decision in the governor's race, and everything else will change in the legislature more than likely in the next few years. You agree?
I don't. I would take Rebecca Bradley 7 days a week and twice on Sunday. And here's why. She is tough as nails, and she will fight back. She will play offense in the race. She'll have a lot of cases in 2025 that she can cite her differences with the majority, starting with abortion, but probably Act 10, maybe school choice, a variety of things that are really important to voters. She will have an agenda, and she will play offense. So she's our best candidate. If we foolishly push her to the federal bench and try and bring in a newbie, we're going to lose that seat.
I can tell you, because I know her a little bit. I endorsed her for one of her earlier positions. I think that she stands a risk. She's perceived as very, very negative, and you saw some of that on election
She was
night.
the opposite of Schimmel. Schimmel was classy, and Bradley was classless.
And I think voters don't like that.
I agree.
Voters on our side like it when you fight. She's a fighter. I think the intensity on the Dem side should go down by next April. We'll see.
I
we'll
wouldn't count on that if I were you.
Yeah, you never know. There is no question, to your point, Steve, that Democrat voters were far more energized than Republican voters on Tuesday.
Bill McCutcheon, Joseph Pecky, we are getting warmed up on this Friday. Thanks for tuning in. As always, Friday origin story of the Political Power Hour on 620 WTMJ. Lots more to get to after this.
It's Debbie Loziga, and I'm so excited because I've chosen Kohler Services to transform my old bathtub into a beautiful new Luxstone shower this month. Kohler Services makes it so easy. They came to my home, took measurements, and answered all of my questions. I was able to feel the crushed stone wall material and design my custom shower. I can't wait for my installation. You can request your free quote for a custom Kohler Luxstone shower by visiting KohlerServicesWI.com. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Competition brings innovation and lower costs, but that's not what your monopoly utility wants. Utilities are spending millions lobbying lawmakers for a special deal that will increase homeowner electric bills even more, putting corporate profits over consumers. Hardworking Wisconsin taxpayers deserve better. Call your state legislator today. Tell them to vote no on Assembly Bill 25 and Senate Bill 28, paid for by the Electricity Transmission Competition Coalition.
Don't think twice. Call Dice.
A great way to add value and curb appeal to your home is with a new LiftMaster or CHI maintenance-free garage door. Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik. A study by Remodelers Magazine reports that the average return on investment is an amazing 82%. Garage doors rank first among all home improvement projects. To see Geiss's huge selection of doors, visit their showroom in Brookfield, or you can also visit their online showroom at geissdoors.com. Geiss has everything from alley doors to custom wood designer doors and everything in between. Remember, for all your garage door needs, you call Geiss at 262-784-4250. That number again, 262-784-4250. It's Geiss. Visit them online at geissdoors.com.
Don't think twice. Call Geiss.
Who's hungry? Mark your calendar April 19th through the 27th for Lake Geneva Restaurant Week. This culinary adventure showcases dozens of the area's top restaurants, serving up exclusive breakfast, lunch, and dinner menus at unbeatable savings. From casual cafes to elegant fine dining, the choices are endless as we celebrate Lake Geneva's amazing dining scene. Check out participating restaurants, menus, and all the tasty details at visitlakegeneva.com. Lake Geneva, it's always been the place for distinctive dining.
All right, welcome to the Friday show. Bill McCott, Joseph Pecky. The biggest unsurprising thing about Tuesday was voter ID.
Hey, don't poo-poo Bill's silver lining. Come
there
on.
It is.
I think that's a good thing in my world.
I think it's a great thing.
Yeah.
And for Republicans, I mean, the one highlight for us on Tuesday night was voter ID was a Republican issue. It was passed by a Republican legislature. It was signed by Republican Scott Walker. We've been driving this issue not only here in Wisconsin, but across the nation. It doesn't decrease turnout. Look at Georgia. It actually has increased turnout. And by the way, in November, we had our highest turnout ever. But now, even with a liberal majority on the Supreme Court, we do not have to worry about voter ID going away because it is in our Constitution. That was a Republican issue. We didn't expand on it enough in the Supreme Court race, and I think that was at our peril.
A word of political caution for my friend Bill and Republicans. As the two parties' political coalitions are changing, Democrats have more college-educated voters. That means less risk of voter ID disenfranchising folks. As your party has more working-class, non-college-educated voters, those hurdles that can arise when it comes to identification become a little more challenging to navigate. In a 50-50 state where presidential elections are decided by 5,000 votes when it's Bush and Kerry, and a whopping 30,000 when it's Trump and Biden or Harris and Biden, is some political risk for Republicans here.
So this is the one thing voters agreed on. In 70 out of 72 counties, this referendum passed. The only two places it didn't were Milwaukee and Madison or Dane County. So voters, Democrat, Independent, Republican, agreed this was the right thing to do. We got to do a better job of staying on message as a Republicans and focusing on issues that voters identify
Well, if you're
with.
talking about counties, all of them moved to the other direction.
I was just going to say, 72 counties moved.
That's all of them.
Bluer from November.
All right, real quick for you. My friend and smart guy, Rick Essenberg, called Donald Trump a moron at least 3 times yesterday. Rick's a pretty respected conservative in the state of Wisconsin. He's about because he's like, as I say, he's a real conservative. He's not a Trump lover.
I don't know him well, but I have a high degree of respect for him.
If this goes bad, and the market's down another 1,300 points this morning, and it goes bad in a really bad way, and hopefully we're not talking about the end of the 1920s. I think the president's going to take some serious hits here, and I think he may lose support.
So I would say we got to be a little bit patient and let this play out. I said at the top of the show, I'll repeat it now. I'm super nervous about these tariffs and how this is all going to play out. I hope there's a bigger plan that we're not fully aware of and that he can negotiate with as many countries as possible, not in the next 10 months, but in the next 10 days and next, week and 2 weeks, because the longer this hangs out there, the tougher it's going to be.
Trump approval, according to Reuters Ipsos, down to 43. My prediction, bookmark it, he'll be in the 30s by Easter.
It's a bad look. And as someone who's in the age that we're talking about most impacted by these serious downturns in the markets, it's not something that people are going to hang on to without getting really angry about it. All right, Bill McCott, Joseph Pecky, another half hour, Political Power Hour. Keep those texts coming. We have local news, of course, I think with Connie Weber this morning. And, of course, now the latest on the markets and more from ABC.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. Financial markets continue to react to President Trump's tariff impacts. The S&P, Dow, and NASDAQ all down by at least 3%, all on track for their worst week in years. At a NATO summit in Brussels, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said President Trump is resetting the system.
I don't think it's fair to say economies are crashing. Markets are crashing because markets are based on the stock value of companies who today are embedded in modes of production that are bad for the United States.
On social media, President Trump said China played it wrong. They panicked. The one thing they cannot do. He made that statement after China announced 34% reciprocal tariffs on U.S. imports. A bright spot, the March jobs report saw 228,000 jobs added last month, well above expectations, but unemployment ticked up. Actor and comedian Russell Brand has been charged with multiple sex crimes in London, including rape. He has maintained he did nothing wrong. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 9:31. I'm Connie Weber. A Marquette Law School poll on the U.S. Supreme Court found a large majority of adults oppose impeaching judges for ruling against President Donald Trump's spending freezes and agency closures. An even greater majority say the president must obey Supreme Court rulings. Overall approval of the court, the highest it's been in 3 years at 54%. 19-year-old from Milwaukee heading to federal prison for 11 years for 2 armed carjackings last year. James Poole also has to pay $25,000 in fines for the carjackings and leading police on a chase through the city before crashing in January of 2024. A second suspect, Jabari Griffin, serving 6 years in federal prison. A New Berlin police sergeant of 20 years accused of taking narcotics from the department's canine training program. Sergeant Stephen Dodson was placed on paid administrative leave in December after drugs went missing from secure storage last May. The 45-year-old was not a member of the canine unit. Dodson could face over 3 years in prison for felony misconduct. In a separate incident, Dodson's accused of drunk driving while possessing a firearm. His pickup truck was found stuck in a ditch near I-43 and Racine Avenue on Tuesday. Dodson currently free on the misconduct charge on a $1,500 cash bond. Time now for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Dow is down 1,377 points at 39,168. The Nasdaq is down 710 at 15,839. The S&P 500 is down 218 at 5,178. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Still working a crash on the ramp from North Avenue to I-43 South. I-43 South at Sunny Slope Road, right shoulder there blocked due to a disabled vehicle. Also a broken down vehicle on the ramp from Blanton Road to I-41 South. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Sunshine this morning, then cloudy this afternoon. Showers late tonight, overnight into tomorrow morning. Highs today 45 to 51, overnight low 38. Tomorrow's high 51 after those early showers. Partly cloudy and 47 on Sunday. Scattered snow showers on Monday. High up to 38 and then sunny, cool Tuesday with a high 41. Right now, Madison's at 38, 42 in Green Bay and 42 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 9:34.
Pain, tingling, burning in your hand and wrist, wakes you up at night, makes life difficult. Working with your hands is nearly impossible. If that sounds like you may suffer with carpal tunnel syndrome. The problem is Medicare pays for the old open surgery done in a hospital or surgery center. And it's no walk in the park. Big incision, 6-week recovery. Imagine your hands being bandaged up, unable to use it for 6 weeks. So if you want to, you can have that old open surgery the government says to get, or you have another option, an ultra minimally invasive procedure done in the office that can give you immediate relief in 15 minutes and you are back to your life in just 1 day. The Ovation Technique, only at Ovation Hand Institute. You've suffered long enough. You don't have to put the fix off anymore. Visit ovationhand.com and see the difference with your own eyes. ovationhand.com.
The Mr. Fix-It Show this Saturday is sponsored by Aaron's. When purchasing lawn equipment from Olson's Outdoor Power Equipment, you're well taken care of after the sale. Olson's knowledgeable staff handles the warranty and parts, can answer all of your questions, and can handle all your tune-ups and repairs. Check out the impressive line of lawnmowers on display at Olson's Outdoor Power Equipment showroom in Muskego. Stop in and say hi to Fawn, the guest this Saturday on the Fix-It Show, sponsored by Aaron's. That's Olson's Outdoor Power Equipment in Muskego, sponsored by Aaron's.
Beer fan
Fans, travel lovers, and history buffs, this is your dream vacation. Join me, Sandy Max, on a 10-day journey through Germany, Austria, and the Czech Republic. We'll enjoy Munich's famous beer halls, sip our way through Salzburg's historic breweries, and discover Vienna's culture and craft beer scene. Then end the tour in Prague, where ancient history meets modern brews. From iconic castles to authentic flavors. Grab your passport and let's raise a glass to the ultimate beer adventure. Limited spots available. Book now. Email me, sandy@wtmj.com to learn more.
Cruising along on a Friday. Maybe the sun will come out today. Maybe that'll give us some cheer because the markets are tanking again. Day 2.
You know what should give us some cheer?
Yeah.
Your wife, Kathy's birthday.
It's her birthday today.
From Joe and I, happy birthday.
Yeah. She looks like she's 50, too, which is...
you outkicked your coverage, no doubt.
Oh, I tell people that all the time. One, she's better looking and smarter. So, I mean, two ways. So, happy birthday to my wife, Kathy. We're going out to dinner. Not a big dinner because we got a lot of stuff to do this weekend. But we're going to have fun and,
Where are you going?
I don't know yet. I let her pick. But we're not doing because we like to buy each other like a really nice, expensive dinner for our birthdays, but we're not doing that because we want to do that on a different date. So we're going to just low key, maybe a fish fry or something.
All right.
You'll probably take your wife out for dinner before my wife takes me out for my birthday dinner. Still waiting, honey.
Wow.
If you're listening, Missy,
She's
still
not.
waiting.
Wow. Is she listening?
No, she doesn't listen.
No.
She listens to me
She can't
enough at
listen to
home.
So that sort of hurts my feelings that she doesn't listen.
I'll tell her you took that personally.
I will, because and you should take it personally. She's not getting you a dinner for your birthday. All right, gentlemen, there's still this budget we have to wrangle with, right? So what's going to happen here? Speaker Mike Johnson can't even get his act together because he's sort of adjourned for a while because he's angry about his group.
There's a couple big bills. One's the big, beautiful bill in D.C., the reconciliation bill, which will include the tax cuts, a variety of the regulation reforms. I was with Brian Stile, congressman from the 1st District, last Friday. I asked him about this. He thinks it will pass the end of April or beginning of May. That's another month. That's a long time with what's going on in the markets to keep the coalition together. As I understand it, as of today, Trump has the votes he needs to pass this, both in the House and in the Senate. But again, time in politics is everything, and 30 days is an eternity when things are going sideways.
As badly as they are?
Economically. So that's one. Secondly, and then I'll turn to my friend Joe, the state budget. How does Tuesday night impact the state budget? There are a number of court cases before the current majority on the Supreme Court that are related to separation of powers. They had a hearing yesterday on one of them, on literacy, on whether or not the Joint Finance Committee can hold up the money versus giving it to the Department of Public Instruction. I do think the elections on Tuesday night will have some impact on the budget process. And for all the listeners who are trying to get something in the state budget, I would think this is going to be the Ozempic budget. I think it's going to be very thin. They're not going to give the governor a lot. It doesn't appear that the governor today, on April 5th or 4th, is willing to compromise on any issues. Doesn't mean he won't be willing to on June 4th, which is probably a better time. But that's what it's going to take to have more meat in this budget. We'll see how both of these things play out. There will be a budget. That I will predict. The Republicans will absolutely pass a budget.
The two, Washington and Madison, are also related. And so what I mean by that is, let's just take Medicaid for one example.
Yeah.
If the feds take an $800 billion cudgel to Medicaid, that will mean way less money for the state of Wisconsin. 2 out of every $3 the state spends on Medicaid comes from the feds. If all of a sudden there's a hole in the state budget based on what happens in D.C., that means there's less money for schools or for tax cuts. Choose your priority. And so the work of Wisconsin lawmakers is about to get harder if the budget framework that the House passed is what ultimately comes to pass.
Speaking of Wisconsin lawmakers, Senator Ron Johnson said some pretty harsh things about the tariff.
Ron Johnson said harsh things?
He was pushing back against the president's ideas. He was not supportive, and I think that sort of signals what you were just talking about.
Did he vote with Rand Paul and Mitch McConnell to halt the fake
Canadian
economic emergency?
No, he did.
Then what? Then what are we doing? Your words mean nothing.
It
Senator
starts
Johnson.
with words, and for him to say that means something. And
Take the vote.
We'll
I
see
think
what
it's
happens.
a signal. I would, if I'm the White House, I'm taking that as a signal. He's one of our key guys. He's leaning the other direction. We got to keep him on the team.
Bill McCossin, Joseph Pecky, Rogers Love. What do you keep? What do you get rid of after this?
We didn't write the headline, the Wall Street Journal did. The days of set and forget investing just ended for many Americans. Economic uncertainty and global unrest. It's a wake-up call. Standard financial advice is to avoid making rash decisions during market turmoil. But retirement planning isn't a set it and forget it process anymore. That's where Annex Wealth Management comes in. As fee-only fiduciaries, we craft personalized plans that adapt as needed. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Head to annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button.
Hey, this is WTMJ Scaffidi for Advent. Changed my life, could change yours as well. You got to do something about it, though. If you're tossing and turning, if your bed partner is being bothered by your excessive snoring, and that's a big guy thing. Let's be a little more respectful of our bed partners and our wives and our girlfriends and all that stuff. And let's go to Advent, 30-minute visit. They'll walk you through everything. They'll answer your questions. They'll put you at ease, and they'll add, if it's necessary, a little simple sleep study at home that you can do really easily. And they'll figure out your problem. For me, sinuses and nasal passages. That was my issue 5 years ago. Went to Advent, and they fixed me, and I sleep through the whole night. Rested and refreshed is how I wake up. That's why I'm always in such a good mood on the radio. That's my reality. That can be yours as well. So to find out how that works, find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better, go to AvidKnows.com. Schedule an appointment today because Avid knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Is outdoor living limited at your place? Well, imagine a deck, a patio, pergola, fire pit, maybe even an outdoor kitchen in your yard. Outdoor Living Unlimited is a local, family-owned company that consults, designs, and builds these things. They're the best. Let them make Outdoor Living Unlimited in your yard like they did in ours. We are Wisconsin. We live outdoors as much as possible. Make the most of it with help from Outdoor Living Unlimited. See OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we believe in making the most of what you love, making sure your money is as well spent as your time. So as you start your spring projects, we have the value you need to make them your own. Right now, Rewards members get a free $10 gift card with an $80 estate fertilizer purchase, 7-pound bags of Blaine's brand Cardinal Songbird food, 2 for $12, plus select Diamond Crystal softener salt, $7.50 for Rewards members. Blaine's Farm and Fleet, being original.
With Amazon Business, smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast. Free up your teams and focus on your future. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for USA Insulation. Premium injection foam, filling your walls and saving you money from day one. Jeff and his team at USA Insulation do a full energy audit on your home or business to see where you're losing money. Then they help you score rebates and discounts that can cut the cost of your project in half. Then they get you 0% interest on financing for up to 72 months. It's a home improvement project that actually saves you money. Tell Jeff Vinny sent you to usainsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
Now, it's time for Love and Rogers on the Political Power Hour.
Airs it out. Complete.
What makes you wanting more?
We got to find a way to go win.
And what makes you want to tear your hair out?
Oh, that's a good question.
Oh, thank you, Producer Jazz, for setting us up. All right. Who wants to go first? Bill McCosh and Joseph Pecky. What are you keeping or getting rid of or rogering or loving?
Okay, even though my side lost on Tuesday night, I am loving the fact that 2.4 million voters showed up on an April 1st election to make their voices heard. I love democracy. I think it's best when people participate in it. It is a participatory sport, and, you know, you can't BITCH if you don't participate. So even though we didn't win, the fact that people were energized enough to come out, and yeah, our side actually did have increased turnout from previous spring elections. They just had more. Let's keep that up, right? We showed people in November that we can win with massive turnout, state record, and, you know, we'll do it again in November of 26.
Before Joe jumps in, what do you say to low propensity voters in Wisconsin?
Well, listen, you got to show up, right? If you want a result or to protect what you voted for in November, you got to show up for the next big election, which was Tuesday.
It's not that hard to vote in Wisconsin. Pretty
Especially
easy.
with early voting. It's super easy.
Oh, go ahead, Joe.
What am I loving this week?
I don't know. What are you loving?
I got to be honest. Other than the victories on Tuesday night, I'm concerned about.
You got
a lot.
nothing?
And so I'd probably do 2 Rogers this week. I am infuriated by the mistakes that the Trump administration is making, and they are acknowledging that they have deported to an El Salvador gulag people who are here legally, They're saying, we made a mistake. This Maryland father who has been here legally for years, committed no crimes, is now sitting in a gulag. And when the judge says, bring him back, they say, we can't. If they can do it to somebody here legally, they can do it to anyone. Get it right.
They also could bring that person back if they really wanted to bring the person
back. We're paying $6 million to house these inmates there. Say you want the guy back. Return him to his family.
All right.
My Rogers has to do with the head of the English department at University of Wisconsin, Eau Claire.
Got a little angry.
The police report, and I'm not going to name his name because charges haven't been filed yet. The police report hasn't been released yet. But allegedly, the head of the English department at UW Eau Claire, who is now on administrative leave, so there is some basis for this story, flipped over a Brad Schimmel table outside on campus on the walkway at UW Eau Claire on the morning of the election on Tuesday. And I don't know if there were any words exchanged. Frankly, in my opinion, that doesn't matter. If the kid said something to incite him, his responsibility as the adult was to tell the administration, and then the kids would have been dealt with. But instead, he acts like the kid, flips the table, and now is on administrative leave. So I hope that process plays out, stays in the public to send a message to people. The adults need to be the adults.
It is a clear example. We have Brad Schimmel, who was very classy in his conceding to Susan Crawford, Judge Susan Crawford, and then we have that example where someone can't control their behavior. Look, if you're a leader of any sort, educational or a local leader or a state leader, put your big boy pants on or big girl pants on and act like a leader and stop acting like a juvenile.
And respect differences of opinion. That's the adult thing to do.
Come on.
Probably Tony Evers should immediately freeze all state funds for the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire until they acquiesce to his demands that they raise the minimum wage for everyone on campus. Oh, wait, this sounds insane and stupid, but it's what the Trump administration is doing to colleges around the country. Stop that crap, too. You are not a dictator. You are not a tyrant. So knock it off. And about that, Professor, what a stupid thing to do, but it's a local law enforcement and university administration issue. They will deal with it. Face the accountability.
All right, that was a fiery Rogers love today. I love the energy, boys. All right, now you know what's next. Grab Bag, Joseph Pecky, Bill McCoshen, Steve, 620 WTMJ.
You know the voice. Fly ball, right field, out of here!
Yeah.
You know the iconic calls.
Hey, this is Steve Scaffidi. You know who I am, right? You know, if you watch the monitors, I've lost a little weight, 36 pounds to be exact. The journey for about 2 months, well, actually about almost 2.5 months now. It's the secret, by the way, Milwaukee Weight Loss, losing 1 pound of fat every day. Their doctors have developed easy to follow. I'm following it. Come on. For those people who don't think I'm that smart, I can follow it. You can do it too. You can lose weight fast, naturally, safely, no drugs, no injections, no risk of serious side effects, no prepackaged meals, bars, shakes, the gimmicky stuff. We all know what we're talking about. And if you don't even want to, you don't even have to exercise. Their program helps reset your metabolism. You can keep the weight off for good. I'm on this for a year, this program. I'll be stable at my weight, whatever that ends up being. Their program, get this, costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast as other programs. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Schedule your free consultation. Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds. Look at me. I'm a success story. You can be too. MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com or 262-449-1180. Results may vary.
You know the voice. Fly ball, right field, out of here! You know the iconic calls. Fly ball, deep right! Back to back! And you know he's our Brewers 360 guest on Wisconsin's Morning News. Every Wednesday at 8:45, it's Brewers broadcaster Jeff Levering. Brewers 360 is sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited. You can't beat Burkhart.
New Berlin and Fox Point.
A Friday Lent fish fry is a family tradition. WTMJ's John Mercure here. Take your family to the amazing Mind Chef restaurant in Hartford today for their all-you-can-eat Lenten fish fry, just $7.99. You don't need to pay $16 or more. Your Mind Chef fish fry is $7.99. It's all you can eat, and it's delicious. Relax with a sweet old-fashioned, a glass of wine, and ice-cold beer. And there's a kids' menu that starts at $3.99. Those kids can safely play in the world-class game room quietly set aside from the dining area while you finish up. Wherever you live, it's worth a drive to the Mine Shaft today for your Friday all-you-can-eat Lent fish fry, just $7.99. Wow. Desserts are buy one, get one free. The Mine Shaft in beautiful downtown Hartford and in Oshkosh, just off the interstate. Lots of seating and close parking. And the Sunday brunch is all you can eat. It's a feast. It's under $15. Make a quick call and reserve your $7.99 fish fry. MineShaftRestaurant.com.
Get the beat of the Bucks straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend.
Welcome to the fantastic voyage. Marcus Johnson, the captain of this vessel.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production.
My first mate, Chris Johnson, the only father and son tandem.
Your weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks and conversations with the biggest names in basketball. This week on the pod, comedian Roy Wood Jr. joins Marcus and Chris. Find Here District now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcast. WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Oh, for my wife, Kathy. Indeed, happy birthday. And I don't know, when you get older...
Would you like to sing to her for your grab bag?
No, happy birthday, Kathy.
That's not bad, actually.
That's not bad.
She doesn't
sort
really...
of nightclub-ish,
I
don't you
don't
think?
think anybody that gets older, you don't really get that excited about the numbers, but it's fun. Here's the cool thing, and I know you guys have a lot to talk about, but Facebook, for all the weirdness of Facebook and the Mark Zuckerberg nonsense, it is cool.
Birthday is the best thing.
It's the best thing, right?
Yeah.
You hear
Birthdays
from people.
and the memories.
Yes.
Those are cool.
Absolutely.
And let's keep the birthday love rolling. I want to wish a very happy early birthday to my cousin Carol. She is really the glue that is holding our family together, the hostess with the mostest. We'll be there for Easter, Christmas, you name it. We're at Carol's house. Carol, we love you. Happy early birthday. And I will roll it forward once more and wish my sister, who is a mid-April baby, a happy birthday. I'm going to take her to the Brewer game for her birthday.
Oh, that's cool.
We're going to have a great time.
The suddenly hot Milwaukee Brewers.
So I don't just have to be angry and yelly and shouty. I got love in my heart.
All those texters that said you were angry and cool off, Joe. All right.
And I disagreed with them. Except in Rogers, you were a little angry.
I got a little hot today.
You were a little hot today.
And your face was red.
So a few listeners reached out to me last week. I had a tough one getting through my grab bag. I appreciate that very, very much. My grab bag today is advice for the GOP majorities in Washington and in Madison. You are in charge. It is your job to pass the budget. And that is a very important responsibility that you cannot abdicate. You can't, at least as it relates to the federal government, you can't keep kicking the can down the road. It is time to do your work. There are enough members in the House of Representatives now pass the first reconciliation bill and begin to work on the budget bills so that they're ready to go by September. As it relates to Madison, my hope is that Governor Evers will come to the table and work out some grand bargains like he did 2 years ago with Robin Voss and Devin LeMahieu. We'll see if that turns out to be the case. I hope it's not a purely partisan budget, but if it is, that is your job and you need to do it.
I believe the plural is grands bargain.
Grands bargain.
It's multiple of
like
them.
attorneys general.
My favorite joke.
Are you a linguist?
Never leave that one just hanging out there. It's not going to be a partisan budget. There's a Democratic governor and a Republican legislature. They have figured this out for what, 3 budgets already?
3 in a row.
Yeah.
He's signed.
Yeah.
I'm actually not worried about it. They'll figure it out.
Nor am I. And I'm not worried about the Brewers anymore. And the Bucks are peaking at the right time. So we got some other things to be excited about.
I bet the over on the Brewers. 82.5 was the over-under. I took the over. Their start made me a little nervous about
money
that
on
bet.
that? Or is Steve going to lay that for you when he goes to Vegas?
I lost a lunch last year because I picked like 80 under, and they went way over.
I'm a huge Pat Murphy fan. I love their lineup.
He's awesome.
They got a lot of injuries, particularly in the pitching staff, but I still have high hopes for the Brewers this year.
Who we got in the Final Four?
I could care less. Well, Florida,
yeah, I really haven't watched much
maybe
of it.
I can get my wife to listen if you're on the Gator bandwagon.
All right. My grab bag this Friday goes to Fox Networks, plural, because they pulled the ticker off yesterday. I don't know what they're doing today because I don't think we have Fox 6, but not Fox Networks up. You want to be a news network, and you can put air quotes on that if you want. You got to have the stock ticker up, especially on a day which was like the worst day since the pandemic for the markets. And currently now it's taking a nosedive again. Dow is
minus 1473.
Yeah, under 40,000, which hasn't happened in a while. So, be a big boy. And To Paul Ryan, who is one of the most respected politicians that I've ever met in my life, you're on the board of Fox last time I checked. And
I believe he still is.
He's also a monthly recipient of an interview request from yours truly, which at some point you should come
Bring
on.
him in for the Power Hour.
Yeah.
We'll have a good time.
Which would be awesome. But if you're going to be a news network, put the big boy pants on, take the beating as you should take it, and acknowledge that this is a news story, and don't do other stories that have nothing to do with the thing that's affecting most Americans today.
Speaking of big boy pants, can we get WMC to actually say something as well? This is one of the biggest supporter of Republicans and candidates like President Trump, and you know that this tariff policy is going to hammer Wisconsin businesses and consumers. WMC, say something.
They're always welcome on my program. I know a bunch of them. They can come on and talk about it. Absolutely. All right, so any other than the birthday stuff, your feel-good story or wish for the weekend? What do you hope happens? I would like one thing to stop raining.
Yeah,
and the sun would come
can
out.
We wish for the
Sound
weather
like we're
to
getting
turn?
that today, and then it's going to be nasty again.
We have some happiness in our house. Our son came home from D.C. to be with his mom,
There you
who
go.
just lost her dad, and so we're going to have a little family time this weekend.
Barbecuing?
Yes, we are. I bought a quarter of a cow about 3 months ago, so we're gonna cook a bunch of that this
Dad's
weekend.
going to be out with the parka by the grill.
Party at McCoshen's. What does a quarter cow go for now?
I believe it was $8.50.
It's because it's not a Canadian cow.
It was Reedsburg cow. Yeah, my PT
Grass
lady.
fed? Grass? What do
Yeah,
they feed
well,
those things?
my PT lady from the Sauk Prairie Hospital, her husband is a farmer, and he raises beef cattle.
All right, I look forward to Monday. Just the show notes. I'm going to be around a little longer on Monday. You can think about that all weekend. So a little extra Steve. And for all those folks who hashtag more Steve, sometimes your wishes come true. Happy weekend, gentlemen.
Happy birthday, Kathy.
Happy birthday, Kathy.
All right, news is next.
It's the biggest door in your house. Time to give it the attention it deserves. Vince Vitrano here talking about Lifetime Door Company in Brookfield. Updating your garage door increases the value of your home